All right, let's see if we can get this thing working. Let's do a little quick audio and video check, and then let's do this thing. Wow, we really had to use the spare parts for this show, I'll tell you that. That's why it's all so grainy. But whatever, we'll make it happen. We will adapt and we will overcome. Okay, let's see on you guys. Oh, we got Matthew in StreamYard. Matthew, would you just give me thumbs up or a little emoji or whatever? Make sure that you hear me and can see me. And same thing for you guys over here. Hey, Matthew, nice. And okay, you got me. Everybody got me. Okay, good. Then we're ready to go. Let's do this thing. I'm very excited about this one. I really like this training. So the thing we're going to do today is we're going to discover the 3 arenas of mental strength. And a lot of you guys, you're here for the ultra trail running, or you have a big goal in your life. And you know that big goals require big stuff. And that's what we're going to talk. So, oh, what happened? Here we go. And whatever the question is, being weak isn't the answer. I wonder if we can agree on that. Just give me a yes in the chat box. And being mentally strong is the only way to achieve our goals. And I would say, at least if we have big goals. So that's why I want to show you the 3 arenas of mental strength. And I want to show you why they are essential. And then I want you to discover how strong you are in each of them. So that from today and forward, and every day for the rest of your life, you'll be unbreakable in the pursuit of your goals. I want you to take a little step towards that today, which is really important. And I also want to show you how this comfort zone model that we always hear about, you got to step out of your comfort zone. How that does not equal mental strength, how that does not move you towards being mentally strong. And we're going to look at why that isn't the case, and then I'm going to offer something that you can do instead. So if you're looking to kill procrastination and you want to become that type of person that you're known to kind of get shit done, even when you're not feeling motivated, and you want to be able to stay calm under pressure, control your thoughts and focus when the stakes are high, no matter if it's a race, if you have a big pitch, if you're having a tough conversation, you want to stay calm, centered, and focused. And you want to build extreme physical resiliency. And I mean resiliency as in the way to have life attack you with all its force, and you'll be able to stand up tall and keep moving. So you want to be able to perform really hard, work really hard, but you don't want to end up burned out. And you want to be able to trust yourself fully. And you want to have that confidence that you'll say you're going to do it, and then you're actually going to do it without slipping back into those old patterns. When we go on vacation and our habits break down, or when we get sick, we get the infamous man cold, and we barely make it out of it alive, and then our habits break down, right? So if this is something that you want, then I would say this training is probably for you. But I have a few more things here that I want to run you through to make sure that this is a good fit for you. Are you still with me? Give a thumbs up or yes or whatever, so I know you're still alive. And if I'm going too fast, just let me know, and I'll try to slow down, because when I get excited, I just want to get it all done because it's so good. Because the important part here is the first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out whether or not this is relevant to your situation. So if you give me the first 10 minutes here, I'll promise to show you whether or not this is relevant to you. And then you can kind of choose yourself if you want to continue with me today, or if it's like, you know what, this is not for me. And that will be your exit point. So stick with me the first few minutes here. So my first question to you guys is, what will mental strength help you accomplish? If you develop this skill, you came here for mental strength, you want to develop it, what will that give you? How will that help you, or how will that support you in the pursuit of your goals? Give me a quick little in the chat box or whatever, and let me know why you came here today. What will this give you? I'm very curious about this one. We get people from all over the places. Some have maybe a big endurance athlete goal. Some of them have a business career. Some of them, it's very different oftentimes. And Chief Judge. Oh, that's really cool, Matthew. And I'm going to call you Matthew because you're the only one I have a name on. Everyone else is just anonymous. So that's why you and I have a little special relationship. Oh, that's really cool. I like that. And speaking of big goals, this is a big goal. I like that. Yes, thank you, guys. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a quick little excerpt from the community and from the Unbreakable Mind thing, and see if you relate to these things. So I'm going to read you a few statements, and then you're just going to tell me, yep, that relates to me, or nope. And this is still the part of you trying to figure out whether or not this training is a good fit for you. So here's one common thing that I hear a lot is that I look disciplined, but I feel like a fraud inside, right? Or I know I'm capable of so much more, but I'm stuck watching life pass me by. Or this one is especially close to my heart. I struggle to get up early in the morning because I don't know why I should. And even though we have the logics behind it, once the alarm clock rings, we hit that snooze, or we just think like, why should I get up now? I could just do it later, right? I could just go up later, and then we hit the snooze, and then we repeat that thing. You might feel that you're driven to win, but still stall on the things that will move the needle. Like you know what to do, but it just doesn't tend to happen, right? It's just like, or when you get sick or when you go on a vacation, your habits tend to break down. Like you're gaining good momentum, and then they're just like, what happened? You come back after vacation, it's like they have to restart, right? And maybe you miss that old disciplined self. This was definitely me before. And you feel like you don't need more motivation. You don't need more David Goggins books. You don't need more speeches. You need maybe more structure, maybe a system to move you forward instead of hurrah, cheering and pom-poms. Right? So what do we got? Okay, we got a few people who recognize the I don't need more motivation stuff. Matthew, need more structure. Yeah, that's I would say the need more structure is one of the most common thing that people show up for. Usually people show up they're really usually objectively successful, and they're looking at big things, right? Big things that require even more of them. So that's cool. Okay, we did that. If you feel like this hit home a bit, I like to call it we're on the struggle bus, and I'm here to give you a new ride, and hopefully it's better than the struggle bus, because a lot of us have tried, Habitify, Streaks, Habitica, all these apps. They work for a few weeks, and then they lose their the efficiency, right? And we've read the David Goggins books, and we get excited, we're pumped up, we're going to do all these things, and we've listened to the mindset courses by Jocko Willink, and we listen to the Huberman podcast. We do all these things, right? And maybe many of us are also doing the cold plunges, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? I've done all of that too, and a lot of us have done too. But the things that I'm going to talk about today is that a cold plunge without these three arenas, without this understanding of what builds mental strength, it's just cold. It's like and we're going to talk about the difference of doing uncomfortable things and doing things that are growing our mental strength, developing our mental strength, making us stronger, right? That's what we're going to talk about today. And I think it's great that you've done all these things. You've tried all these things, right? Because hopefully today will be the same type of experience that Robin had. She had all these things done just like you and I have, but she needed something to connect them. Like that's she's saying here, like this is the linking together decades of reading and doing. So I just finally got it. So hopefully we can make those connections today. So all of that work you've done before, all the things you've read, all the things you've tried, they will now click and make sense. Because I know a lot of the books are very inspirational, but they lack in the structure. They lack in the, what do I actually do? Like, great book, but what do I do? And the stuff we're going to do today, they work and they continue to work no matter what your goal is. It's like for Julia, she won her first elite match, which was pretty awesome, elite athlete. Or you want to learn a new language really fast. Or like Rickard, which had a really tough decision to make to fire 28 employees, which requires a lot of emotional resiliency and emotional toughness. Or just asking for like a refund for someone where it's really awkward, right? Just everyday situations. And here's some cool things. If you, or I should say, when you stay to the end today, I'll show you how to get this new Unbreakable Mind bootcamp for free, which is crazy. This is second time I'm offering this, and it's so interesting. And there's no catch. There's no weird shit. It's literally you can get this thing for free, which I'm laughing. It's because I'm so excited about this offer. It's so good. And one of you guys, I'm going to draw here, the one who's very active and engaged. I'm also going to give 1 hour of free coaching. But that means you're going to have to stay with me to the end. You're going to engage. You're going to be active. You're going to try to learn. And then I'll pick one of you guys, and we'll do that. But if you're excited about getting this structure, being a full program for free, then this is a good place to be. But here's the thing. There's nothing to buy here. Like, I'm not going to sell you. I'm not going to run a 30-minute pitch or anything. There's nothing to buy. We're here to learn stuff. But for those who are excited, I'm going to share how you can move on and learn more about Unbreakable Mind. But relax, learn as much as you can, focus on the training. Okay, awesome, Matthew. 12:30. I don't know what that is in your time zone. How much time do we have to work on here? 12:30. Yeah, relax and learn as much as you can, right? Now, 15 minutes. Okay, awesome, Matthew. No worries. That's fine. If you want to go ahead and book a call with me already, if you're excited about that, which is no commitment, no nothing, then you can do that. I'll just send you the link here. It's unbreakable.co/ see if I make the right link. It's book a call, I think. I just changed the links here. Oh no. So here we go. I'm gonna put it in the little chat. Yeah, exactly. For those of you guys who want to do that, feel free. But I prefer if you stick around, because this is the good part. Okay, so now you have the opportunity. Like, now you know what we're going to do. You know what this training is about. So you can either say, you know what, this is not relevant to me, and I think you should just do something else. Because if it's not relevant, then why spend your time with me? But if you feel like this is relevant, and you feel like this might be the thing that you're looking for that can move you towards your goals, then this is time for you to commit to do this, and let's freaking go. All right? So deviate or stay the course. It's up to you now, but I want you to commit to whatever you choose, right? Okay. Staying. I love it. Nice. Cool. So here's the thing. Let's do this thing. I'm very excited. And I say that all the time, and it's because I am legit excited. So when I left the army after 14 years of service, I met my now fiancée, Diana, and she told me, okay, all these things that you've done, you got to teach this stuff, right? You have done things that 99% wouldn't even consider trying to do. And you did it without burning out, which I never thought it was a big deal. But looking around me, I realized a lot of people, burn out, of course, and struggle with that. And then I'm like, yeah, okay, so I have climbed some of the highest mountains on the planet. I have worked as a bomb disposal officer, and I still have my arms and legs, so I guess I don't suck completely. I have run some really long ultra marathons, 100 miles plus, multi-day, stuff like that. Fast packed for 11 days. I've done skydiving. Okay, I've done all this stuff. I also did college in half the time. And I'm not just saying this to brag, even though I'm very proud of it. I'm saying this because it really relates to the story or to the training we're going to do today. Because my initial response was that anyone can do it. It's really not that difficult. But I also, in the same moment, realized something very important. And this has led up to what we're doing today. And that is that I failed actually more than 4 military selections. I almost got kicked out of bomb disposal training. It took me 37 years to find my dream partner. I sank my boat in the Bahamas. I almost died more than 4 times. I spent 10 years of savings on building a non-profitable business. And I used to be afraid of heights, and I used to hate running. Right? So maybe it wasn't so easy, and maybe everybody can't do it. So I actually got really curious. Some would argue obsessed, but that's up to them, right? We're trying to answer this one very simple question. Why, after so many failures, did I still keep going? Right? And why did some of my close friends stop? People who they looked more fit, or they were in better shape. They were better adapted on the paper to do the things that I did. Especially since I'm no David Goggins. I don't have a fancy like Navy SEAL badge, or I'm not Jocko Willink who has all this amazing experience and stuff, right? I grew up with a single parent who hates sports, and I didn't have any some tough, extreme childhood trauma that made me tough. You hear that all the time. People have this extreme trauma, and then they become really mentally tough, and then they do these big things. Like I didn't have that. I was painfully average, like except excluding my BMI, because I was definitely not average on my BMI. So I started going through all this experience, all the things that I had done and survived from, and came back excited. And the first thing I discovered was that you can go really far with a well-trained body. Like if you just build a functioning, physically strong body, you can go far, and you can do really heavy stuff, right? Big surprise. Thank you, Gabrielle. Great surprise. I promise you, it will make more sense. So the first arena that I was thinking about was the physical resiliency. Like you have a body, right? But what I discovered was that a lot of people use this as their main arena. They push harder, they work more hours, they use brute force in everything. And the reason why you can do that is because it's such a reinforcing pattern. Because you work hard, and that enables you to work even harder because you increase your stamina. So that means, okay, when I work hard, I get better results, so I can work even harder and get better results. And then you continue doing that year over year over year over year. And there is a really great thing about this, right? As you've talked about positive loop, but there is also a really dark side to it, which we'll talk about in a bit. But we need this part. We need to have a strong physical body, because it's literally the vehicle that takes us on adventure. Like if you have a good body, you can go places and experience things and have great relationships. You can do all these things. And it will delay the need of mental strength. Right? If you're way more physically strong than I am, and we're doing the same thing, whether it is carrying groceries or carrying our children or doing a race together, then let's say we're doing a 10K race, for example, for simplicity. If I'm super fit and you're not, then that 10K is going to be a breeze in the park. I would probably be thinking about other things. What am I going to do after this? It's nice weather. But the person who are unfit, they're going to suffer through the 10K. They're going to think about, holy crap, am I going to make it? The pain is too much. So they're going to have to engage that mental strength, and they're going to start draining their mental strength, battery. That's what I'd call it. So that's why building a really strong physique or high physical resiliency is very important. And it's not only about muscles, right, or cardio. It's also about being able to endure or have an immune system to take care of viruses, so you can be productive, stuff like that. But we need this physical component. We need the body, right? And if you don't have that, of course, life just sucks. You have more injuries, disease, and you'll die earlier. And life is just horrible. And here's the thing: even if you do this right, even if you're really strong, you're like developing a physical capacity year after year after year, and you work harder and harder and harder, you're going to tap out. And this is usually what happens when people hit 30, around 30 years old, because then they have worked really hard for 10 years, and it's starting to become really, really tough. And you can only go so far with the physical body. You can only work so many hours for so long until you reach burnout, unless you have other things to cover for you, to take care of you. Those are the things we're going to talk about today. But when you're 18, 19, 20, you can go really hard and get really far. Makes sense so far? Can I get a thumbs up or a dog poop emoji or whatever to explain what you think? Are you with me on the physical resiliency part, or like the first arena? Matthew, thank you. And we got some, yeah, got it. Okay, cool. Nothing super surprising yet. Of course, inside the program, we dive deep into this, what it actually means and how you train it in a more effective way. But we're going to do a little bit of a test here first. Right? First, of course, this was the first arena. But here we go. I want to give you a quick little test to just see a little bit where you're at on the physical resiliency arena. And we're going to do this after each arena. So I'm going to present a statement to you, and then you're going to write your score in the chat, or privately, it's up to you, but I prefer in the chat because then it just becomes more fun. And at the end, when we've done all the 3 arenas, we're going to summarize those, and we're going to draw some conclusions on where your strengths lie and where you should probably put your time into. Okay, so your physical resiliency. Here's my first statement to you. Number 1, and I want you to score this from not like me to not like me, somewhat like me, or very much like me. And not like me is 1 point. You can see that up here to the right. And somewhat like me, 2 points. Very much like me, 3 points. So statement number 1, I recover well enough to train hard multiple times per week without injury. So train hard multiple times per week without injury. And you can sustain that for years and years and years. So if that is very much like you give that a 3 points. If it's not like you give it 1 point. So you can just pop that in the chat. I recover well enough. Okay, so we have a few not like me, somewhat like me. Matthew got a 1 here. Excellent, thanks for sharing. Okay, number 2. In the last 3 months, I've done some type of hard activity that took over 6 hours. And I'm talking about 6 hours of continuous work. And this could be, if you're working on a farm, that probably comes fairly easily. If you're working behind a desk, you might never have done something like this. But in the last 3 months, I've done some type of hard activity that took over 6 hours. Very much like you, 3 points. Not like you at all, 1 point. And then 2 in between. Yeah, it's a great question. What's the relevancy of these things? I would love to go into the deep why these questions, I've selected these questions, but the short version is I've taken some of them from a scientific grit test, and some of them are based on what I see in the Unbreakable Mind program. The people who have a really high capacity, what do they do? What's their life like? So that's part of the question. Thank you. Okay, number 3. My body feels durable and dependable in everyday life as well as during competition or challenges. Durable and dependable. Is that the feeling? And for some of you, it's going to be more physical activity stuff, ultra endurance racing, stuff like that. For some of you, it might be studying or training or practicing. Maybe you have a big test coming up, or you're studying for a bar exam or whatever, and you feel like you just lose energy after an hour, and you can only do a few repetitions per day, and then you lose all the energy, right? Okay. What was it? Great. Okay. Now I want to quickly just summarize up what you got. So, okay, we have 3, 5. Excellent. Yeah, you just want to get your score here, and that's going to be your body score. We're going to keep that for later. Excellent. Okay, the second thing I discovered was that the most difficult situation in my life required more than just brute force and physical strength, right? It's when I faced those difficult decisions where there was no good option. It was just shitty options, right? Or it was when I wasn't know what's going to happen. This is a classic survival exercise, right? But dealing with those unknown, like, I don't know how this is going to go. Are we going to come home today? Are we going to get seriously injured? I don't know what's the plan, whatever. Or when you're about to have this tough conversation, maybe someone's going to have that tough conversation with you, or you're going to have it with someone else, and you just know that it's not going to be well received, right? And so earlier, I told you that I almost got kicked out of Bondesville School. And the reason why I almost got kicked out was because of this second arena here. Because I have this big satisfaction of letting people know, especially people who claim to be experts. I couldn't resist this urge to be right or to give back, get back at them, right? Even if I was right, even if I was factually correct, the things that I was saying were correct and factually correct. My communication was reactive and not active, right? It was based on emotions, not me thinking what's the best way to respond here. So one thing that I want to explain here, because it will make a lot of sense, I hope, for you guys, is that when I talk about reaction and action, you can see it's like this. Here you can see the timeline, right, from left to right. So we have an event that's happening. This might be that I got that feedback from that instructor. And in that first phase, after that, the few minutes or hours, you're in the reaction phase. You're driven by your emotions. You're driven by being annoyed by that person. Like, how dare you tell me that I suck, even though I know that I'm right. Right? And sooner or later, there's a threshold where you cross over from reaction, that emotional stage, into action. Right? And that threshold is the thing that I want to move as close as possible to the event. So if let's say something happens to me, I have that reaction, I get pissed off by that person who told me something. And if I allow that to manifest long enough time, I stretch that timeline out, then I might not hold up and I might say something back. I might go back after that guy. Right? So I want to make sure that threshold where I switch from being reactive to active happens as fast as possible. So that's something we train in Unbreakable Mind. We feel all the emotions and then we switch into action. Because once you get into the action phase, you get to choose your own behavior. Right? You get to say, you know what, I want to kick you in the nuts, but that's not the person I want to be. So instead, I'm going to give you some constructive and useful feedback. Right? Makes sense? Okay, thumbs up, makes sense. Great. So I was lacking that. My ex was driven far, far away. I had this urge to tell them that they were wrong and that they suck, right? So the things that I got out from that was that this mental resilience arena, the second arena would be mental resilience, or the mind, understanding how we react, how we emotionally react to these things, right? This is how we are able to face rejections. We can maintain self-control, these emotional controls, and that leads us to make good decisions, even in tough, high-stakes environments. And this is our world for a lot of us. If we can change our thoughts, we can really change our lives. And I would say for a lot of us, it's the difference between surviving and thriving in life. And it can take us pretty far. If you have the mind and the body, you can go pretty far, right? And I think that's why a lot of people stop here, because they're like, okay, I'm physically fit, I have emotional control, and I can, do this fairly well. So I guess I'm good. They don't think further than that, because this will get you pretty far. It will get you through ultra marathons. It will get you through pretty big job assignments, right? But it has a big flaw. It has a vital flaw, which we'll talk about in a few seconds. If you don't develop the mind, you will be reactive, as we talked about before, telling people to go F themselves or kick them in the nuts and realizing, oh, crap, that was not the best way to do it. So we become hasty in our decisions. We become offensive in our speech. We might make the mistake of saying we're going to quit, only to realize 20 minutes later that, why did I quit? Why did I not keep pushing? Why did I not finish that race? It isn't that bad, We just need a split second to make the wrong decision, and then we're out of the race, right? Or we're out of the exam, or whatever it is. This also often tends to lead that we blame our results on the situation, and we don't take ownership, right? Because it's also inevitably leads to bitterness, depression, and a really tough life. Because it's someone else's fault. It's out there. I'm just a result. I'm just a victim of the circumstances. So I figured out the second arena that we're talking about is body and mind. And I thought that we were kind of done here. But it turns out we're not, because there's a big, big gap. But before we go into looking at what that gap is, I want to test this arena with you. I want to give you this quick test here. So once again, I'm going to give you a statement, and then you're going to tell me, you're going to give it 1, 2, 3 points. Right? First statement. When something stressful happens, argument, deadline, want to quit, I can calm my thoughts within seconds or minutes. And the time frame here is important, because we talked about it before. Second or minutes. Right? You want to score that from 1 to 3. 1, if it's not like you, or 3, it's very much like me. Okay, we have a 2, there's some 1s, nice. Or not nice, but you get it. Thanks for sharing. Okay, second question. I tell myself I'll wake up early or no phone until after training, and I actually follow through. These are just examples where you get the point. You tell yourself you're going to do something, you're going to do it. Is that very much like you, 3 points, or not like you at all, 1 point? Got it. 2, 1. Ooh, we even have a 3. I like that. Right. Question number 3. I rarely avoid a tough conversation, workout, or things that scare me. And the key here is things that scare you. 1, 2s, and 3s. Excellent. And now I want you to summarize all of that. Put it in the chat. Because yeah, these are the things that we're going to bring on later on, and we're going to use that to summarize and make some conclusions to what you probably should be training. Okay, cool, great. So by now I had gained some very deep insights. I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out this, but there's something missing, and this is the vital component that I was talking about before. Because what about the days and months when I was sick or down or in a slump and I just didn't perform at all? You know, I still managed to move on, but it had nothing to do with me. So this like mind-body thing is lacking something. I realized it was broken. You know, you've seen it on all of the walls, mind, body, and whatever. But it's not it. There's something missing, and it's not spirit. You know, I thought about that a lot. It's mind, body, and spirit. You hear it all the time. It's not it. Mind, body, and spirit lacks things as well. It took me a while to figure this thing out, right? But when it did, it clicked. It was this big aha moment, right? It was the third arena. And until this day, and all the times I've run this training, nobody's ever been able to find the gap in this training. Nobody has ever said, like, you know what, this is what you're missing. So far, this holds up pretty well. So what the heck is the third arena? I realized this when I was doing my first skydiving jump of the year. I was going up into the air, and it was a decently good day. And I was a little bit nervous because I hadn't done it in 6 months or maybe 9 months. And then up we go, jump out of the plane. Everything looks good. Happy days. Pull out my parachute. I look up, and whoop, it's just this big pile of crap on top of me. And when you look at a parachute, it shouldn't look like crap. It should look like a very nice folded aerofoil or a wing up there. That's what you want. So I look up. This is crap, but it's fine. I know what to do. Pull apart, kick your legs, and off we go. So I do that. Look at the watch. Like, it's down on red now. Red is not good. So it's time to pull your spare. I pull a spare. And now, everything should be good, right? The main parachute flies away. Excellent. The spare one goes up. And then turns into a bag of poop, that one as well. I'm like, oh, great. This is great. Now it's halfway down the red, and I'm starting to see the contours of people's faces. I can see license plates on cars, and that means I'm going very fast towards the ground, and I don't have a lot of time, right? But still, there's only one thing to do: pull apart, kick around, and hope for the best. Nothing happening, going down to red, going closer, and then finally it opens up. The perfect airfoil, the perfect shape of the wing, and I land smoothly, perfectly, everything's fine. And then what happens? Well, that adrenaline, right? That adrenaline dump, and I'm starting to shake. I get nervous, and I realize, holy crap, that could have been the last thing I've ever done. Could have been the last day of my life. And then my skydiving coach comes running after me, and she's carrying something. She runs after me, and I'm like, oh shit, what am I gonna say? Did I screw up? I'm here, I'm good. She comes up to me, she says, take that off. I'm like, what do you mean? And I just, take my rig off. And she's like, put this on, you're going up in 5 minutes again. Like, what do you mean? 5 minutes? I'm like, oh, okay. I don't really have time to think. Put everything on, do my checks, get on the airplane. I go up again a few minutes later. I take my next jump out, open up perfectly, land perfectly. And I stand there and I'm like, oh, cool, this is fine. I'm good. So what do you guys think would happen if she just, in that moment, would have said, or if I were in charge in that moment? I just wanted to go, get an ice cream, sit in the shower and cry and realize, holy crap, I could have died. One more on that list, turn number 4, I think this is, or whatever, where I almost died. Right? Yeah, I would have been afraid of heights. I would have been scared reckless, right? Because it's the old idea of getting back up on the horse. So a few weeks ago, I went parapente in France. So I was able to do this, and I just enjoy it. It's amazing, right? But without that situation, if I were making my own decision at that time, I would probably be scared of heights, to a level where I could not deal with myself. I could not do stuff like this. This is the normal things that happen, right? So the third thing I realized, the third arena, is that when you're down, when you're out, when you can't make good decisions, when you can't make a long-term good decision for yourself, when you're in a slump, when life sucks, and your body is your body is not working, adrenaline dump, or when your mind isn't where you want it to be, you can't make good decisions. The thing you need is really, really good people around you. You need a team. And that coach on that day was my team. She ran up to me. She knew what I needed, not what I wanted. She knew what I needed because she knew my goals. We had the shared vision of where I wanted to go, and that one did not include being scared of heights. So she pushed me through, and she helped me through in the right moment to do the thing that was right to do that I did not want to do. If I didn't have her in that moment, then I would have been stuck underground, and I might not have been able to jump ever again because I would have been spiraling. Right? But a good team do some amazing things for you. Whether or not you call your team family, your work, or your friends, a good team holds you accountable and support you when needed. A good team understands what you need when you're lost or you're down. That's what she did for me. She understood what I needed. And they push you in the direction you want to go, not where you want to go, or sorry, where you want to go, not where they want you to go, not where your mom wants you to stay safe, right? But where you want to go. And if you don't have this, right, you are alone when things get tough, and making it almost impossible to win because sooner or later something's going to break down. Life is going to throw you a lot of crap, and that's where mind and body isn't enough. We need someone who can help us up, who can lift us up, who can carry our backpack when we're too tired to do it ourselves. Right? And you'll learn so much slower. No one's going to give you honest feedback, right? If you don't have a team that can tell you, you know what, when you did this, you were a piece of crap. You should probably work on that, right? And this inevitably leads to this disillusionment, right? Because you live in your own world. You don't have honest inputs. People are just saying either you're doing great, even though they don't think so, or even worse, they're not telling you anything, right? And a lot of people live their lives like this. So when the toughest days come, they don't really have someone to lean on. They think they might have some, but it turns out they won't. And this becomes really lonely. So the old saying still is correct. If you're going to go fast, you go alone. If you're going to go far, you go with a team. And I think life, if you're doing it correctly, it should be a long run. It should be an ultra marathon, right? So you need your team. Does this make sense? Can I get some thumbs up or a rocket emoji or a mind blown emoji, whatever? So now we have body, we have mind, we have team. But before we move into how to train that and how those all connect, let's test you on the team arena. All right, statement number 1. I have people around who give me honest and useful feedback. Much like me, 3 points. Not like me, 1 point. Yep. Robin says, yep. Well, I like that. Okay, we have 3 points. More points. All right. Number 2, I have people around me that understands my goals and pushes me to do what I want, not what they want me to do. This is the thing about those of you who have read the David Goggins book. You know this. He never talks about team. He talks about the body and talks about being mentally resilient, but he never really talks about his team. But if you look closely in his books, you realize that when he did the Moab 200 or whatever, 250, the only reason why he finished that one because of his team, because his team knew what he wanted in the long run. So they just told him, hey, Goggins, you have 12 more hours And he had quit. He had already quit. He was in the hotel. And they thought, hey, Goggins, you have 50 more hours to finish this thing. And that was all they needed. They knew that all they need to say is that there is a chance to do this, and that would get him back up again. So he went back out and they finished the race. Without that team, David Goggins would have been David Goggins. So we need the team component. Okay, third one. When I succeed, I have people who genuinely celebrate with me. People who are genuinely happy. This took me a while to figure out. I would share my success with everyone, and then I realized it actually created enemies, which is super weird. But I think some of you can relate to that. But you want friends or team around you who genuinely celebrate with you. It's a 1, if that's not like you at all, you don't have that, or 3, like you definitely have that around you. And then you summarize the score, you make one big lump out of it, right? Cool. Okay, so what's the conclusion here now? We've done the test of all the 3 arenas. Now let's see, if you had 0 to 4 points, I would call this a weak arena. This is probably what you need to focus on first, right? If you have 5 to 7, most often what this means is that it works, you have something there, but when things get really rough, that's probably the thing that's going to crack. Thank you, Robin. Where you're really strong, this is already your edge, or this is what you have developed to a good level. This is obviously not a complete test, but it will give you some type of direction on where to start looking or start practicing more. In Unbreakable Mind, of course, we dive way deeper to this. We have a 4-week phase where it's basically just a testing phase over and over again to kind of understand yourself from the mental, physical, and the team aspect. Okay, so then what the heck happens when you develop the 3 arenas? You take on the adventure that doesn't break down, right? And then you'll be able to act instead of react, so you can become the person you want to be, right? Because if you can act, then you can act the way your ideal version would act. And if you get to choose your behavior, you literally become the person you want to be. And you will have people around you that criticize and support you at the right time in a useful way. So, quick question now. How valuable would that be for you? How valuable would it be for you to develop a strong body, strong mind, and a strong team? And you can just score this simply from 1 to 10. Considering that you have a goal, what if you could develop a strong body, a strong mind, and a strong team to get you there? How valuable would that be from 1 to 10? Okay, 8, 9, 9, 9. And then the next question obviously becomes, what would become possible? Like, what things in your life would open up that before wasn't? All the things that you've been struggling with so far, whether it's this big test, it's a big game, it's a pitch, it's a race. What will you unlock? Right? That's how we call it. Body, mind, team. And inside of that, we unlock performance. I would say it's, I mean, this is a bold statement, but it almost becomes impossible to lose. Because now, you have your body, you have a mind that's functioning, and when that doesn't function, you have a team to support you so that when you get back online, you can keep going. So as long as you stay alive, you'll get there. It's just a matter of time now. But there is a little bit of a problem. And this might be why you're feeling stuck and unable to move towards your goals. Because growth in the 3 arenas doesn't happen simply by leaving the comfort zone, right? We've heard it so many times. You got to leave the comfort zone. It's not about doing uncomfortable things. Eating too much candy. Think about that. It's about leaving your familiar zone, not your comfort zone. So you got to identify what scares you. And you got to face those fears in a structured, safe, and realistic way. And we're going to talk about why that is so important. So you got to face those fears with structures, so you learn from your experience. So you don't burn out. So you just don't do more, make the same mistake over and over again. But you need to have that upward spiral. You do something, you experience something, you learn from it, you do it better next time, and you move up, right? And then you got to do it in a safe environment that allows you to explore the limits. Because if what you're doing is always on the edge of breaking you down or killing you or crashing your career, then it's very hard to go there and do that every day, right? And then sooner or later, you're going to break that career, break your life or whatever. So we need to do this in a safe environment where you're able to explore your limits. And we need to do this realistically. And I'm right now at the military academy, and we talk about this every day. We have to train as you fight. We got to train as to fight. Right? And in our world here, it's war or it's combat. For your life, it might be, if you're a lawyer, you got to practice and train the way you will show up in court. Or you got to practice all the things during your training that will happen in your ultra race, for example. Right? So I'll give you some examples here. So I think that's one. Maybe I should. So a lot of us go to the yoga studio, and then we listen to whale song, and we sit in a meditation lotus position, and we relax and we calm down, and we're asked to do that. Right? Nice, super. And then we go to the CrossFit box, and we do one more rep, and we build this, toughness. We go really hard. Right? But the thing is, like, anyone can do one more rep at the CrossFit. But life's toughest moment, they don't play out in these centered rooms with cheering crowds, right? They happen at like 2 a.m. in the morning or at kilometer 90 when everything freaking hurts and the thoughts of quitting, they start to make sense. When you just want to give up. And they happen in a situation where you don't have time for like sitting down and taking a 5-minute meditation. Like that car crash that just happened, you don't have time to sit 5 minutes and wait for people to bleed out. It's just because you can relax and calm down and roll out your yoga mat, right? I'm exaggerating, but I think you get the point. Like life's biggest moment doesn't wait for you to calm down. Like they will pass, right? The moment has passed. And that is exactly why I created the Unbreakable Mind Path and the Unbreakable Mind System training program. Right? It was to give myself, and now you, the structure, safe, and realistic training needed to develop this unbreakable mental strength, right? So that you can finish the thing you started, right? So that months of preparation aren't wasted in a single bad decision, in that split decision where you're just too tired and too annoyed to make the right thing. Because how would your life change if this is how you approach the rest of your life? If you approach your life as in developing these 3 arenas, like how would your life change? Right? Honestly, give that a few seconds. What would happen? Type it in the chat box. Like how would your life be different if you approach the rest of your life this way? Instead of just going out there and doing uncomfortable things, you would now go out there and do things that are structured, and you would do challenges and you would do workouts that are developing your mind, your body, and your team, right? Not just doing hard things for doing hard things. You do them because you want to develop. So this is where you have a division in the road. Maybe you can go that. You can either keep grinding, hoping that body and mind will get you where you want to be, or you can step into a system with structure that systemically trains your mind, body, and team, right? So you have those motivated teammates that will support you when things are getting rough. And like we talked about before, it doesn't matter what your goals are, if you have any even right now. Whether you're an elite athlete, or you're studying to learn a new language, or you have some huge decisions to make, like Rickard, who has to fire 28 employees, which of course sucks. But even worse would be to just keep them on in this situation. So, and we already agree that if you want to achieve your big goals, you need to be mentally strong. And that's why I created this Unbreakable Mind Bootcamp that I want to share with you about. Because this is a live online bootcamp with daily challenges, weekly coaching for 6 weeks that trains you to stay calm, stay disciplined, and focus under pressure. That's the big deal. And we do that because we treat mental toughness or mental strength like a muscle that you can work out daily. And we know this now. Science tells us this clearly. There's a part of our brain called mid-cingulate cortex, which actually gets activated. And when we do not just tough things or hard things, but we do specific things, and they're tightly connected to mental toughness. And here's the cool part. Like this training now, this is what I think is very exciting. The original price is €13.97, right? And it's not even $900, right? It's not even $599, which it was last week. But here's the cool thing, and I'm very excited with this one because I think this will give you the incentive to do the work and go after the challenges full on. You can win those $599 back, right? Here's how this works, right? You're going to deposit $599 to me, and then you can win those money back. All you need to do is you got to finish 90% of the challenges. I'm not saying you have to pass them in a certain way. I'm saying you're going to have to do them, and you're going to have to share your progress. Those are two things you need to do. And if you do that, you get your money back, your deposit, and it's free. There are no catch. There are no weird things. That's it. But you're going to have to book your application call within the next 15 minutes of this little thing we're doing now, right? And there's no commitment. Like you have a talk with me, we have a chat, and we go through that, and we talk about the rules and exactly so you know exactly what it is, right? And if you're one of the 7 now to get accepted, because I'm only going to do 7 in this round, then it's so funny, right? I think it's great. So on this 45-minute call with me, we're going to look at your goals, the requirements of the program, so you're crystal clear on what the heck you need to do. And so you can agree with that and say, yeah, you know what? I want to take this challenge. I want to freaking get my money back. And the reason I do that is because I think if you have incentive to win your money back, you're going to go even harder after the challenge. And if you go even harder, that means once you finish, you're going to give me a really good testimonials because you're going to see the progress. And when you get a really good testimonial, I'll be able to use that in my business, right? And I'm also pretty confident that if you're given this a really good test drive, you're going to want to stick around. So it's a win-win on every level. You get the incentives to do the work. I'm going to most likely have you in my community for a much longer time. Win-win. So we're going to go through that. We're going to go through what I expect of you and what you can expect of me. And then we're going to go through, what I said, exactly what you need to do to win. Makes sense? Very straightforward. So you can get €13.97 for free by winning your money back. Right? So it's very simple. All you need to do now is go to unbreakablemindco/bookgabriel, and you book a call with me. And you do this even if it's like now it's not a good time. Right? So you book that call. Oh, let's see. There we go. You book that call. We have a chat. We see if this is a good fit for you. And if I think it's a good fit, because I just want the right people in the community. The people who are actually willing to do the work. And if you do that, I'll sign you up and we'll get going. How does that sound? Yeah, Robin. Wow, it's a pretty cool one, right? I think this is so exciting to me. I'm very happy to get people on board to do this thing. Because the problem that I see oftentimes is that people, they buy something and then they get distracted by all other things in life, and their engagement kind of drops. And I'm hoping if I can dangle this little thing in front of them, then people will go after it harder. And that means they will get better results. And if they get better results, they'll be more inclined to talk about the program even better. And that benefits me, it benefits them. It's a win-win. And if they really love it, they're going to stick around with me anyways, and we're going to work together for a long time. So it's not like I'm giving away money like a crappy business decision. This is the best thing ever. It's just fun for everyone. It's great. I love it. I wish someone would give me this offer, because I would have gone after it hard. Yeah, Robin, right? It's so worth it. I think it's such a great offer. And some people say, oh, well, you want me to fail? Like, no. Of course, I don't want people to fail, because if you fail, you're going to think it sucks. And if you think it sucks, then you're going to tell other people that it sucks. I have nothing to win with people failing. Like I'm literally going to do everything I can. But now your incentives and my incentives, they align. Right? You want to go after money. You want the transformation. And I want your transformation. It's a great win. I love it. And it's very straightforward. So what the heck is this challenge, right? We'll talk about exactly what it is, but in general, it's a 6 weeks of mental strength training. It's weekly live small group coaching. And when I say weekly live, we're going to be 5 to 10 people, right? You're going to get all the attention you need, all the questions asked you need. You're going to get a dedicated accountability buddy. I'm going to match you up with someone, and you're going to hold hands through this entire thing, because we've got to develop the team, right? We've got to practice that stuff. You're going to get access to the Unbreakable workout library. Not only are we going to do live workouts together, if it fits your schedule, where we go live, we do VO2 max sessions, cardio. We also do mental strength things. And it's not just your regular physical activity. This is, as Robin knows, we're talking about incorporating your mind, your body, and your team into the workout. And that's where we're going to practice. And then you'll have the Unbreakable workout library. We have a bunch of workouts that you can do on your own. It's all based on your level, where you can go super duper duper hard if you're an elite athlete. That's going to kick your butt anyways. If you're starting out, it's going to kick your butt enough to not injure yourself, but keep you moving forward. So it's all scalable to your level. It's great. And there's so many details I could go into here about the program, but I want to keep it a high level. So if you're excited, you're curious, all you need to do is go to unbreakablemindco/book Gabriel or Gabriel and book a call with me, and I'll go through the details. I'll tell you everything. And if I think you're a good fit, I'm going to offer you one of the 7 spots to this boot camp, 6 weeks to an Unbreakable Mind. Oh yeah, also, so if you're afraid that this is like, he's never going to give me my money back, then you also have the guarantee that I give for everything. Like if you join it and you think it's absolute crap, then you can get your money back. Simple as that. I won't even ask you a question. I'm going to ask you why you think it sucks, because I would like to know. But you also have a 100% money back guarantee. If you think it sucks, you'll get your money back anyways. So it's literally risk-free. And so far, we have had 0 refunds ever since we started Unbreakable Mind. 0. Like honestly, nobody. Which is fun. I think it's a big deal. I'm very proud of that. I mean, obviously, sooner or later, someone's going to refund, but so far, nothing. And I think a big part of that is we've been able to build a fun community with people, the right people are in it. And I think that's why Robin is here as well. Because we have a nice community where people develop the team together. We support each other. We do things together. It's really fun. I appreciate it. Okay, any questions? Let's see here. So I'm going to pop up the chat. Yeah, sorry, it's a bit slow when it comes to the challenge with the questions, so that's why I'm lagging a bit. Let's see here. Here we go. Okay, maybe now I can see it. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So what each week you'll get challenges, specific challenges, and you'll get clear instructions exactly how to do it. And it will be so simple that you will keep the momentum up. I know a lot of programs make it really difficult. You got to listen to a lot of things and you got to think about a lot of things, but we're very action oriented. We do the opposite. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. So there's a minimum amount of things to do to get the benefits. So for an example, in the Unbreakable Mind program, everything is structured in like 10-minute pieces, and every challenge has a minimum amount of instructions. And that is because I want you to do things, get the experience, and then we're going to debrief it. So you're going to do something and learn from it. I want to put doing at the top of the hierarchy. Like reading about it or listening to a podcast about it or talking about it is lower priority than you actually doing things. So it's very action oriented. It's the opposite of the inspirational books. We're just going to get you doing things. We're going to go through challenges. We're going to give you the tools to deal with that challenge. And you're going to face a lot of those micro fears and challenges. And I'm going to walk you through it all the time. I'll be there each single week with you to coach you and to support you. And together with the community, we're going to make sure that you go where you want to go. This is excellent for people who have a big goal coming up. Maybe it's a test, or it's a big speech, or it's an ultra race, or anything where you know that, crap, if I don't perform at my highest on that day, then I will fail. If you have a situation like that coming up in the next couple of months, then this is definitely something for you. Because this will also teach you how to interact with your family, your work, and the people around you, so you can start developing that team. So you can have that experience that I had, where people support you in the right way when you need it the most. Yeah, the team component is vital, right? Yeah, I mean, and really, honestly, this is Unbreakable Mind, and the Unbreakable Mind bootcamp isn't for anyone. It's literally for, I would say, like the 1% who don't settle. It's for us who have done the 5 a.m. mornings, the 5 a.m. club. We've done the cold showers, but somewhere along the way, it's just something's missing, right? And we're looking for that next level of mental resiliency. It's not for, I want to read a book and whatever. Like, this is building, this is like going to the gym for your mind, like building muscles. You need to go to the gym, or you need to lift heavy stuff, and your brain will adapt. Like, this is hard work, but it's rewarding work. It will develop you, and you will have the support along the way. Right? And I think something that happens a lot is that a lot of programs promise to develop discipline or time management skills or whatever, right? But they tend to fall apart when life gets hard. And the reason why they do that is because they train you in isolation, right? They focus on this one narrow skill set, or maybe one habit, but they don't account for the complexity of life. And that's why we talk about safe, structured, and real. Like, that training needs to be that way. And it needs to be adapted for your goals. Right? If they don't have those 3 components, then you're just flopping around you're outside the comfort zone, but you're not in the growth zone. Right? So in Unbreakable Mind, we talk about the familiar zone. Those are the things that they can be really hard, but they're familiar to you. They don't scare you. Like going to the gym and doing really heavy lifts, it's tough, it's hard. And it might give you some anxiety before you do it, because it's like, oh God, I got to go hard at it again. But it doesn't take you outside of your familiar zone. So you're not going to develop that. You're not going to develop that mental toughness to take on big challenges, right? To take on the things that scare you. To be able to take on things that scare you and make the right decisions, you got to be practice taking on things that scare you. It's very simple that way. And lifting heavy things at the gym doesn't do that. No, you'll get physically strong, but it doesn't translate into making tough decisions. So that's what we do in Unbreakable Mind. We find those things in your life which scares you, which are safe, and then we give you a structured challenge to practice that and become better. Right? And then we do that with an upward spiral. So you don't make the same mistakes and you don't avoid the things. Because once we avoid, the sneaky things with avoiding fear is that we don't decide our own life. If we go in this direction and then we have something that we fear and we're like, I don't have energy to do it, and then you go around it, then suddenly you don't run the show. Your fears run the show. That's a very tricky way to live your life. Does that make sense? Okay, it makes sense. Great. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, no, I think that's good. Now, this isn't for you if you're looking for like a cozy support group to ventilate, right? We love taking action. We love going after it. We love doing it. And that doesn't mean we don't, listen in when life sucks, right? That's just part of it. But it's not a place to go complain and just like say, oh, this is crap and I'm a victim. Like, this is for people who want to take ownership, who wants to be other people to take ownership, and for people who have either huge goals that they're struggling with or they want to achieve, or they have huge struggles in their life that they want to get through. They just need to push through. They can't afford to give up, because if they give up, it might be it. Right? Yeah, exactly. So you get the 6-week mental strength training plan. We'll walk you through that, and you'll have your own training plan. You'll get weekly coaching. You'll get your accountability buddy, which is fun. We're also going to give you a system where you can track your progress and make sure that you always are improving. And in general, you could say that it looks something like that. Like week 1, we're going to identify your strengths and weaknesses. Week 2 to 3, we're going to look at your physical resiliency. We're going to install unbreakable habits, test your physical limits, stuff like that. Then 4-5, we're going to focus on mental resiliency. We're going to test your mental limits. We're going to work on breath work, visualizations, stuff like that. And week 6 is basically dedicated towards teamwork, or the team component, and a final test. Right? We're going to create one final test where you get to incorporate body, mind, and team, and where you're going to have to use your family and friends to help you through that. And then hopefully by the end of that, you'll earn your Unbreakable Mind badge. That's fun. Yeah. Thank you, Robin. No worries. I'll talk to you later. Yep. So all you need to do is go on the unbreakablemindco/book Gabriel or Gabriel, and then book a call with me, and we'll figure this out. Even if you're not sure, but if you just have that urge to become mentally stronger, to keep moving, then it's worth having that call and see if this is the right thing for you. Because what if this is the thing that you need? And you might have a lot of objections saying, I don't have the time, or I don't, can't do this, or I'm afraid, or whatever it may be. Put that things aside for a while and just take this time now to acknowledge that there are big goals out there that you want. And the only way to get there is by developing the mental strength. And this could be the first step towards doing that. That's it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really enjoy it. I love running these trainings. And book the call. Let's talk later. And whatever you do, stay strong and train as you fight.